Hey, you want to take a picture by the car?
No, thank you. Who are you talking to? Because I know it ain't me.
You tried it.
Girl. Oh, no, ma'am. No, sir. He's acting like we work for him. He ain't my boss.
My own mama don't even try to tell me what to do anymore. Since I've been 15 years old, I've been paying my own bills and doing my own taxes. So you need to relax.
I don't work for you. You seem to be very confused. You not the boss of me. You seem to be very confused. If you think that you gon' tell me what to do, 'cause you're not. Oh baby boy, you must be so very confused. Everybody's freaking out 'cause something's wrong with you.
And there is something very wrong with you.
Something wrong with you. There is something very wrong with you.
Fast like lightning, harder than a hurricane. I bring the thunder, I'm dancing in the pouring rain. If you try to fight me, dishonor your family name. Oh, I think they like me, world will never be the same. IQ billion, patience zero. Did you ever meet a modern day hero? Hold up, wait, whoa, put the flavor on it. Why you frontin' on me, boy? I'm your daddy favorite.
Anyway, I have a whole second verse to that. Tell y'all about that. Tell y'all about that later. Hey, Wicked Bree. Hey, hello. That's a little demo concept. Shout out to me and Manny Fresh. I made that beat, but it was with the Manny Fresh Nola Bounce kit that he has on Splice, I think. So shout out to Manny Fresh. Couldn't have done that without him. But yeah, if you go to Splice, there's all these like all this like horn stuff, like Nola Bounce. If you know, if you know, you know. Anyway, okay, so somebody said shout out to AI mixes. Let the record reflect that first song, the Iko Iko one. Of course, it is like a cover of sorts. That ain't AI, that's me, girl. That's me. And my producer. Anyway, love a Nola Bounce. Right. I mean, it really lives right there in my soul. That marching band, like that like horns thing underneath. Anyway, okay. Period. Yes. So yes, hit that like button. Indeed. So we are back. I guess we're back from lunch. I assume we're back from lunch. They were supposed to be back 5 minutes ago. So let's go to Inner City Press Twitter and just pick up right where we left off. Oh, let me put my banner up. Today is Tuesday, May 27th, 1:06 p.m. There was no court yesterday. It was Memorial Day. Shout out and thank you to those who have fallen in order to make it a safe and free country for us. Every single day we're fighting overseas. And I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm fighting every single day right here from my house. So shout out to, seriously, no, all jokes aside, you know, a lot of times people got sent over there and it was for other people's crap, other people's wars. That's not nice. That's not fair. So shout out to them, sending love to their families and all that. So there was no court yesterday. There was no court Friday. The most recent court was like Thursday last week. Today's Tuesday. Here we are. It is 1:06 p.m. They have left for the lunch break. Actually looks like they had some stuff happen after lunch break. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather today. Just doing my best, as it were. Okay, look, we got an update. Let me pull this up. Oh, thank you, Tiffany. Tiffany said, hope you feel better soon. Thank you. Sunflower said, I'm making their DMV trip go faster. Thank God. It's like, does time even exist in there? It's like in a warp, like a time warp, like a hellhole of time. Sometimes you will get like that one random nice DMV worker. Shout out to the one random nice DMV worker from time to time. Shout out to you. True public servant. Truly person of the people. Anyway, okay. So we have a video from Inner City Press. What's he saying? Calling Cassie on her 5 days later to start of cross on her feelings for Combs, some tears, and then lunch break. Let's see. So I guess they I guess they kept going in court after the lunch break. Hold on, I gotta do this. Okay. I guess they stayed after the lunch break to argue about things. So I'm trying to get to that right now. All right. So the judge first says, okay, so the jury leaves and the witness, who is today is Capricorn Clark so far. She's on cross-examination right now with Mark Agnifilo questioning her. Her direct examination is done. So now it's Mark Agnifilo, Diddy's lawyer's turn to ask his questions or whatever. He got cut short during the break because there was a break. They needed to go eat lunch. The assistant U.S. attorney said, okay, oh wait, hold on, excuse me. The judge said, okay, on the DNA questions to Inspector Jimenez, I don't know if I'm saying that name right, but I'm doing my best. Y'all can read. The government's objection is overruled. So the government did not want, I did a whole discussion about this earlier on my earlier live today. It's the same thumbnail as this one. It's the video that came out right before this one. I did already talk about it. I'm not going to get too in the details. Really don't want to get into the details at all, really. But this is there was some DNA found on the boom boom that was put into Kid Cudi's car that made it go boom. There was some DNA found on it, a partial DNA. They couldn't get a full read on it or whatever. So there's going to be this guy. He's going to come in. He's going to testify. He's from the Los Angeles Fire Department. He's a fire scene investigator or whatever. Like he does like fire, the investigations for the fires, right? Like arson and stuff like that. So he did do an inspection, and the Diddy's lawyers might want to ask him about DNA found on the boom boom. And the government has argued pretty seriously that they don't think this should be allowed because there's no expert, because I already talked about it. I don't want to get into details. However, the judge said, too bad, so sad, government. Diddy's lawyers can argue over this if they want to. Moving on. Then the assistant U.S. attorney said, we ask for a bit longer. We've not been able to eat lunch. We are running ahead of schedule. Our case may be closer to 5 weeks than 6 weeks. Okay, so I want to retweet this because this is an update. This update on timing. People are often curious and wondering, Diddy docket update, timing update. Assistant U.S. attorney says their case, right? The assistant U.S. attorney's case may take closer to 5 weeks than the originally predicted, forecasted, planned. I don't know what word to use. This is what goes on inside my head. I'm trying to find out what word to use. Like, is it predicted, forecasted, suspected, planned? You know, all these words can go there, but it's like, which one am I actually trying to use? It's like sometimes it just doesn't hit. It's like, that's not what I was looking for. Put a something in the chat. Put a something in the chat if that makes any sense to you. Okay. Predicted doesn't seem right, but let's just keep it moving. Okay. So they had originally told the jury and the lawyers to come back at 1:00. I will tell y'all, like, originally when I was reading that, when it was like, this is the assistant U.S. attorney, that the prosecutors, the government saying, I don't know which one it is, but saying like, we haven't been able to even eat our lunch because this lunch break is just seriously not long enough. Like 30 minutes is not long enough because you're going to spend 10 of those minutes in the bathroom, whether it be you need to actually use the restroom, you know, to use the facilities, or if you need to just like maybe look in the mirror and make sure you don't have stuff in your teeth, wash your hands, obviously before, probably after. I don't always wash my hands after I eat because it's like, oh, I didn't touch the food. I'm going to wash my hands again. But, you got to go. If you're in court, you're probably going to wash your hands, after you eat, just to be sure. And you got to, so you're spending 10 of the minutes of the 30 in the bathroom. Then you got to wait for the microwave to heat your stuff up, or you got to go and buy or stand in the line. So I'm going to tell y'all, I was downstairs in my own house and I was trying to take my little break, and I did not have very much time to do anything. And I'm not even trying to like run a trial. I'm just sitting up here and trying to fight for my life, feeling under the weather and read, So I was going to be like, oh my God, these prosecutors need to get over it. They need to eat faster. But they don't have to eat faster. But 30 minutes, it really does come and go. And then if you spend even 10 of those minutes, 5, 7 of those minutes in the courtroom, like waiting for the jury to leave, it's like you really just don't have the time. And that is difficult to balance, because you definitely do want the trial to be as planned. But that's why I think she said the trial is on schedule. So we are at 113 right now. I did see one new update here. This is such a dramatic title from NBC News. Judge declares court in recess. Okay. Prosecution says it's ahead of schedule. This is 32 minutes ago, 12:41. NBC News, Adam Rice, David Cayley, the government's lead prosecutor, Maureen Comey, so that's who said it, asked Judge Subramanian, if lunches could go longer than the currently allotted 30 minutes. The judge asked if that would slow the jury getting all the evidence. By his goal, he wants to be done by 4th of July. 4th of July white party he got to go to, okay? I'm just kidding. But the assistant attorney, she said, actually, we're moving ahead of schedule. She predicted the government would rest after 5 weeks rather than the 6. Okay, so it could also have something to do with victim 3. I heard somewhere earlier today, victim 3, I think it was Megan. I don't want to misquote. I just read on the break. Victim 3 is not going to be testifying. She's not expected to testify, or he. But maybe that has something to do with the fact that they need less time, or maybe they're just going faster. Okay, 7 minutes ago, NBC News, Diddy tried to chase Kid Cudi in a car before police sirens dissuaded him. Earlier in her direct testimony, Capricorn Clark, this is Diddy's former assistant, offered new details on Diddy's attempt to confront Kid Cudi in December 2011 and why Diddy left. She told the court that after she called Cassie to let her know that Diddy had broken into Kid Cudi's house, Diddy got into the car and left the residence. Hold on, I have to send a text message real quick. Okay. The judge asked if that would slow the jury. No, predicted rest after 5 weeks. Wait, where was I? Oh, up here. Wait, did it do it again where it deleted the tweet as I was reading it? Did it do that again? 53 minutes ago. Yeah, they did. They deleted it as I was reading it. The gaslighting. Y'all, I felt like it was like a fever dream. Okay. So I'll just read the one most recent Fox News one. It was from 23 minutes ago. Diddy's ex-assistant cries while testifying about working for the rapper. Became emotional while testifying about her job working for the now disgraced mogul. Previously worked for him, got 2 #1 albums. What is this? She testified she previously worked for Drive. I don't know what that means. Drive what? Maybe it was Jive. Jive Records. She must have previously worked for Jive. Yeah, she said she was making $90,000 there. 2 #1 albums, including one for R. Kelly. Diddy was allegedly impressed and offered her a job back. She started to get choked up as she claimed she was a very good employee for a long time. According to her, working for Diddy was another form of business school if I could make it through. This is what George Kaplan also said. He said this was his Harvard. He said this was Harvard for him. He learned how to do business. He learned how to be a man. He learned how to push himself to the limits. He learned how to work hard. But he also said, he had to quit because the man was deranged. Through tears, Capricorn said, despite everything, the rapper was smart and tenacious. She wanted to break a glass ceiling. Okay, let's go NBC. I think they might have put my update back up. Yeah, they did. Okay. So I was reading from NBC, Adam Rice, Yang Fang, and Doha Madani. Diddy tried to chase Kid Cudi in a car before police sirens dissuaded him. Earlier in the direct testimony, Clark offered new details on Diddy's attempt to confront Kid Cudi in December 2011. She told the court that after she called Cassie to tell her Diddy had broken into Kid Cudi's house, Diddy got into the car and left the residence where he was. I think he was at were they at a residence or were they at a hotel? I don't remember. They were driving away from the home when Diddy spotted Kid Cudi traveling in the other direction. I'm trying to turn on my fan. Hold on. I just turned on my air purifier. Okay. Diddy chased Kid Cudi in the vehicle until he heard sirens headed in the direction of Kid Cudi's home. When Capricorn Clark told the court, when at that point, which is her testimony, right? Diddy finally heard the sirens. And then at that point, he pulled himself together and drove to a stop at a club on Sunset Boulevard. CNN has an update. Back on the bench. Okay. Now, we already did read this from another source, but just to let you know, CNN.com already said prosecutors say they're ahead of schedule. Prosecutors said they're far ahead of schedule. Their case is likely shaping up to last 5 weeks instead of 6. Judges back on the bench. Lawyers are discussing upcoming exhibits before the jury is brought in. I'm just checking some of the other sources we haven't looked at as much today. So people.com doesn't really put out much stuff. Capricorn Clark says, man threatened to throw her in East River over missing jewelry, subjected her to forced polygraph test. Capricorn Clark, a former assistant of Diddy, took the witness stand. Early in her testimony, she alleged that Diddy accused her of stealing jewelry, after which she was taken to an office. And it really sucks to be accused of stealing something when you're like an honest person and you really didn't steal it and you would never steal. Like, it's so insulting and like shocking. Like, it really upsets you if you, it can, I don't know, maybe not everybody, but like, it's just such a low down thing to like be accused of. That being said, if you are missing, who knows, God knows how many thousands of dollars worth of jewelry, you might want to try and get it back. And you don't want to just assume the person didn't take it. You might want to just do a little investigation or something. But I think this 5 days of lie detector test for 8 hours a day is a little bit much. So she was taken, she claims in her testimony, and she was accused of stealing this jewelry. And then after that, she's taken to an office building and was told by a large man she would have to take a polygraph test, a lie detector test. It's just giving Scientology. I'm just so sorry. It just is. And if she failed it, he would throw her in the East River in New York. She said she was forced to spend 5 days taking lie detector tests before she was free to leave. Diddy threatened to unalive Kid Cudi. Capricorn Clark told the court about an alleged incident when Diddy was furious at Kid Cudi. He testified that Diddy showed up. She testified Diddy showed up to her home holding a pew. Quote, he was livid, furious, mad at me. Get dressed. We're going to unalive him. She said Diddy assaulted Cassie. During her emotional testimony, she told the court that she witnessed Diddy kick Cassie. He kept kicking her. He never used his hands, just kicking. Okay. Oh, this is, all right, let's go here. Oh, there's Ben Kochman. He's the one that's always writing. Like, we always read his articles from inside court. The most recent thing they did other than that video was an hour ago. Let's go to 4 new updates from Washington Post. Oh my God. Every single day they put Tanea back on here. Okay. Okay, 39 minutes ago, I think this was before I went on my lunch break, WashingtonPost.com, and Capricorn Clark had an on and off working relationship with Diddy. This is Anne Brannigan. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo asked Capricorn Clark about the nature of the work she did for Diddy, as well as their relationship. This is when Diddy's lawyers started asking questions. Capricorn Clark began her work as a personal assistant, then a personal liaison. She testified she was a sounding board for Diddy's Vote or Die campaign in 2004. She was fired for 3 to 4 weeks that year, she said, after an incident in which a diamond jewelry entrusted to her care had gone missing. She said she was held on a dilapidated floor in the Bad Boy building all day for 5 days to answer questions while hooked up to a lie detector machine. And she did say that this is before it was actually officially being used as the Bad Boy headquarters. So it was like a delay. It would needed to be updated. Agnifilo asked her if she ever went to Human Resources at Bad Boy about the incident. And she said, no, I had not. She said, I was happy to be fired. She said under cross, saying she rested during that time. Diddy's 35 Diddy's 35th birthday party at, I don't know how to say this, Cipriani in New York brought Capricorn Clark back into the fold, she said. Okay, this is more details. Good, because I was a little confused of like what exactly the context of this was. So Diddy's 35th birthday party, it brings Capricorn Clark back into the Diddy universe. She said after another member of Diddy's inner circle asked her to work on this celebrity guest list. So somebody in Diddy's team was like, hey, can you help me put together the celebrity guest list for Diddy's 35th birthday party? I'm going to be 35 this year. Ting. So she's like, yeah, I guess I'll help do that. And so she starts working for him again, I guess. She left again in 2006 after an incident where she alleged Diddy pushed her violently. Remember, he was like shoved her for 20 to 30 yards or whatever at his Miami home. Agnifilo was about to ask Capricorn about her returning to work for Diddy's clothing line just before the lunch recess. So she also came back and worked for Sean John Women. She had got emotional describing the nature of their relationship and the work she did for Diddy. I think I was a really good employee for him. She added that it was complicated. Right before Agnifilo paused, questioning. 42 minutes ago, Clark had an on and off working relationship with Diddy. Oh, I already read that one. Oh, that was the same. Okay, so next one up. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, 41 minutes ago, as the court, this is Anne Brannigan, Washington Post. As the court was breaking for lunch, the prosecution said it felt it was ahead of schedule in presenting its case against Diddy. The government had initially asked for 6 weeks, but says it's on pace to finish in 5. And look at the parentheses. A light cheer echoed through the press room. Everybody's like, please, we're ready to get out of here. The judge has previously said he's aiming to have the case wrapped up by the 4th of July holiday weekend. Okay, I'm not going to read that one, but shout out to Samantha Cherry. And then we have this Mark Leta story again. Very interesting. They keep shoving that down our throat. Okay, let's go back to Inner City Press. The judge is back on the bench. Last I checked. Okay, they're back. Okay, so they're all back. They're back. So let's just catch up with the Inner City Press tweets. Okay. They're back. This was about 8 minutes ago. Juror and witnesses are in. Jurors and witness is in. Okay. The government said, okay. Below juror and before. I think he means before. Okay, they're back, but the jury and the witnesses excuse me, but the jurors and the witness are not in yet. Okay, I think that's what that says. It's not what it actually says, but I'm trying to, I think it might be a typo or something. The government said they propose to use communications, meaning Diddy's team has proposed to use communications between Capricorn Clark and Cassie. We don't see any reason for them to put these in other than hearsay. Agnifilo said there's more reasons than hearsay, and they should come in. Want to know why? Because there are logistics and photo shoots being discussed, and she testified about logistics and photo shoots during her direct examination. He said the direct went, okay. Agnifilo said, we didn't expect the government to get so negative about things. It went more negative than we expected. And so for that reason, this whole theory about Miss Ventura was not allowed to be creative. No, that's false. The judge said, Mark Agnifilo, in the future, you need to submit this stuff overnight. Like I already told you, like there's already a standing order, like there's already a rule. The judge said in their defense submission over the weekend, the defense argued the album cover was relevant. Right, Ms. Shapiro? Yes. And then the government is saying, no, Cassie is topless with her arms crossed. Remember how they were trying to get topless photos of Cassie in for like record album photo shoots that she had done, like cover photos for her album and different things. The judge had left out like topless photos of her before. And the assistant U.S. attorneys were like, yeah, it needs to be left out, Your Honor. That's the correct decision. Want to know why? Because Cassie, they're going to use this old tired stereotype that Cassie was posing, without a shirt on and for her artistic album over here. And then that must mean that she wanted freak offs. And Agnifilo's like, no, these pictures just show that she had a thriving career. The judge had at that point left the topless photos out. He left some in that were like, she was in public. It was like very low cut, but it was clothes. There was clothes. Now they're arguing. They have now submitted paperwork. They're trying to get these topless photos of Cassie in, which makes me believe they actually do want to play on that theory of like SLUT shaming, basically, like saying like, well, Cassie was like, because they could have shown Cassie had a thriving career without showing a topless photo. They didn't have to show that, and they keep trying to get it in. So it's like, no, just stop, just stop it. The judge is again saying, we'll decide later. Just bring the jury back in. I don't have time for all this. Okay, less than a minute ago, CNN reports that the cross-examination of Capricorn Clark resumes. She's back on the stand following lunch break, and the jury is now returning. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo is continuing the cross-examination. Let's go to Washington Post. Tanea Wallace, same last name as Biggie, keeps rearing her head. Okay, look at a little court drawing. Okay, we're gonna CNN. She's still under oath. Nothing new here. Let's go to Fox News. Let me pull up some news that happened with the Diddy trial over the weekend while we wait for the next tweet. Because I saw that Diddy's making millions of dollars from inside the jailhouse by renting his plane out. And at the beginning of this trial, he was supposedly trying to sell this jet. Remember, they were like, Diddy can't get out on bail because he got a private jet. He can go anywhere he wants. And they're like, no, I do think there's a lot to this. Like, Jonathan Oddie did say that that's how they make their money. Remember, Jonathan Oddie said one of the ways they make their money is these private planes, and they're actually trafficking substances, and they're making money off of that. So it's like, oh, you're doing club promotion and you got 100,000 euros and you took that 100,000 euros and put it on the plane. And then you had like, who knows, God knows how many thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. It was on a private plane and what's going on in these private planes and all that. Well, this is a story that came out this weekend. This is Daily Mail. Diddy making millions from prison with high-end services. Diddy's allegedly making millions from prison by renting out his $60 million private jet to wealthy travelers who have no idea he's the owner. The rapper, who is currently facing his trial, has raked in $4 million since he was arrested in September, according to the U.S. Sun. Diddy's jet is a Gulfstream G550, registered to his company Love Air, has been used by unwitting clients at least 126 times up to May 20th, racking up 149,000 miles. Luxury operator Silver Air has been renting out the plane, and customers spend an average of $32,000 per 1,100-mile journey, according to The Sun. Daily Mail has contacted Silver Air and Diddy's attorneys for comment. The jet black long-range aircraft can carry up to 14 passengers. And remember Hailey Bieber? It was like drama recently because she was saying like, I want a jet that's as big as Kylie Jenner's or something like that. She wants the big jet and she's like wasting all Justin Bieber's money. I wonder if like that has anything to do with like this Gulfstream. I don't know. 14 people on the plane seems like a lot to me. The jet black long-range aircraft can carry up to 14 passengers in an opulent 7-foot 3-inch by 43-foot 11-inch cabins with a maximum range of 6,500 nautical miles. Photographs of the jet on Silver Air's website show its classy oak-colored interior with large padded couches and chairs, which come with plenty of legroom. The jet rental could be the 55-year-old rapper's main source of income. The jet rental could be Diddy's main source of income, as he has plugged at least $10 million into fighting ST charges in the courtroom. Wow, there's the jet. And remember, he was trying so hard to sell it. I bet you he was. I'm so sure he was trying to sell it. I'm so sure. Diddy's allegedly making millions from prison by renting out the $60 million private jet. He previously put his palatial $61 million Los Angeles mansion on the market as he scrambled to cover the cost of assembling a daunting team of veteran attorneys. The 10-bedroom, 13-bathroom Beverly Hills mansion seems to have been tainted by the scandal and has sat on the market for more than 200. Nobody wants to buy it. Nobody wants to buy it. He's currently not in a mansion. He's actually instead in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, accused of operating a racketeering conspiracy, He has denied all accusations. He faces life in jail if convicted. The first week saw a litany of, okay. No, we're not doing that. All right. So isn't that interesting? I do want to see the U.S. Sun. No, not that. Ew. I want to see this. Diddy raked in. This is the exclusive. The U.S. Sun got the exclusive. Still about the Benjamins, he raked in $4.1 million since the ST arrest by renting out luxury service to high-end travelers. Despite the financial injection, he's still facing life sentence. Silver Air. Diddy's Gulfstream plane has proven to be a lucrative side hustle for the disgraced music executive whose other businesses and revenue streams have evaporated since his high-profile arrest in September. The pictures? Let's see the pictures. Wait. This is the interior. It doesn't appear to be the same one that what's-his-name was talking about, though. Maybe we got to go to Silver Air's website. The aircraft is being rented by the luxury rental operator, Silver Air. Silver Air, which operated the flights, advertises itself as a company with a comprehensive fleet of luxury aircraft. The company is advertising the black-colored plane on celebrity charter broker sites such as Jetly and wealthy customers who have no clue it's owned by Diddy. Since his arrest in Manhattan last September, the jet has been rented out at least 126 times until May 20th. Records show that the jet has been rented at least every other day. This thing's being rented almost every day. It has traveled almost 150,000 miles, the equivalent of flying around the world 6 times since Diddy posted it on the since it was posted on the rental site. So who posted it up there? I want to see Love Air. Let me go with this. I want to see Love Air because I want to see if it's a Lou Taylor address. Love Air LLC. Was it one word? Jasmine said, this shows the length of his resources and his capabilities to cover himself. This is Rico behavior. I mean, I'm trying to figure out, is this like, it is wild. The thing that's crazy to me is that he was acting like he was trying to sell this jet so hard, but this jet is making his main source of income. So was he ever trying to sell the jet? Was he just lying? That's really what I'm thinking. Like, I don't think it's illegal to try to make money to pay for your defense. But I am interested to know, is it Lou Taylor doing this still? Because I'm just curious, nosy on the back end. Wait, whoa, hold on. This is interesting. I typed in Love Air. Frontier Leasing Limited Partnership? Frontier? Like, isn't that an airline? Previously known as Love Air Home Care? What the hell? Love Air Home Care. Love Air Healthcare. See, this is why I can't do live investigations. I'll be stumbling onto something and I can't even focus. It's a Utah-based company. What the hell is Love Air Home Care and Love Air Healthcare and CNS Respiratory Services? Oh, girl. That's interesting. Okay, I'm trying to find what's the name of his stupid. Is Love Air one word? Love Air LLC. This, y'all, this was all the way back in November. Back in November last year, cash-strapped Diddy is renting out his private jet for $432,000 a flight as his trial loomed. He was desperately trying to generate cash. Oh my God. $60 million private jet as he faces a looming ST trial. 55-year-old music mogul who is currently behind bars, This was back in November. 7 months ago. He put his lavish Gulfstream 550 aircraft up for charter on exclusive aviation platforms used by Hollywood's elite. Diddy's distinctive black private plane can accommodate 14 passengers, is being listed on jet rental sites like Victor, dubbed the Uber of private jets. A single return flight from LA to New York is $116,000, excluding taxes and fees. If you want to go from California to London, it's $432,000. The 2015 model aircraft was also advertised on other sites. The latest desperate bid to raise funds, scrambles to cover legal costs, currently awaiting trial. Y'all. Oh my God. Let's go back to Twitter. I do want to revisit this investigation. Why wasn't the jet confiscated by the feds? That's a great question. It's Lika. I'm wondering. Okay. We do have a new 4 tweets. Okay. Okay. So the last tweet we read here before the whole jet investigation, which I'm like dying to get back into, but let's just get caught up. In their defense, okay. The judge, they were arguing about the topless photos, right? The judge didn't decide to let him in or not yet. I gotta get my coffee or what is it? Tea. Okay. So he didn't decide yet. And he said, let's just bring the jury back in. The jury comes in. When you went to the park, Agnifilo says, It was to Tavern on the Green. She said, well, no, we parked there earlier in the day in the park. We ran into NAS. Okay, so I think this is where Dawn Richard had said that Cassie was getting beat up and they wore sunglasses in solidarity. I think I'm not exactly sure. I don't know why I think that. That's what's coming to my mind. It's kind of out of context. So it's like when you say, oh, okay. Remember earlier in the video from earlier this morning where Diddy apparently, according to these reports of Capricorn Clark's testimony, Diddy apparently called Cassie to his house to stand in the living room and twirl around and then leave out of the room. And he said, that's why you just don't have boyfriend or men or whatever. That's why you can't get a man, because you won't do that. And Capricorn Clark said, sure won't. No, I will not. That is stupid. I am not doing that. Okay. So when you say Diddy Agnifilo asks Capricorn Clark 3 minutes ago, we get this tweet. All right, Miss Clark, when you say Diddy had Cassie spinning around, who all was there? Let me show you what you said. You said Laurianne Gibson was there? She said, no, they misheard me. I did not say that. Okay, well, when did you first meet Cassie Ventura? She said, I first met her with Ryan Leslie. And Ryan Leslie, if you will recall, was Cassie's boyfriend before Diddy, the one Diddy kind of stole her away from. You know, like they were creeping and sneaking around behind Ryan Leslie's back. It was the first time she ever actually like hooked up with Diddy on the boat or whatever. Ryan Leslie, she was dating him at the time, but he was also like her manager and stuff. Agnifilo asks the next question. Why did you not get along with Cassie sometimes? She said, well, in 2008, she got more bravado being his girlfriend the longer it lasted. She thought I was being paid to help her. Objection, Your Honor. Objection, Your Honor. Well, she kind of was being, that's probably why, because it's like confusing. Sustained. The judge agrees. Re-ask the question. What did you see? Well, she went from being a sweet model to a feisty girlfriend. Do you think she was talented? Oh, yeah, she had talent, and she was very beautiful. But not talented? She was not? Wait. Oh, she had talent. Okay, to me, having talent and being talented is the same thing, but I guess, like, to Capricorn Clark, it's not. She's like, Mark Agnifilo, this is shady. Mark Agnifilo is like, do you think that Cassie was talented? She's like, well, she had talent. She was very beautiful. Yeah, but not talented, right? She's like, she was not. I have good taste. I don't know what that's about. I would like to see some further context from, Inner City Press or... Oh, so she's like, no, she's not like, okay. So I would disagree with Capricorn Clark's definition for talented, but how many times have y'all heard me say this is why we need definitions for things? Because we'll be sitting here arguing, disagreeing, whenever we actually do agree on the point. We don't agree on the definition of something. To me, having talent is exactly the same thing as being talented. But apparently being talented to Capricorn Clark and her definition of things, which nobody's like right or wrong. I think it's just like we got to agree before we start arguing with people. What's the definition of talented? Because she's saying, to me, talented is Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey. And Cassie is absolutely no Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey. She was more of a studio musician. She needed things to be equalized. Did she perform live? Agnifilo said. She said a couple times and it wasn't great. Was she a hard worker? At times. So Capricorn Clark don't like Cassie, it looked like. However, Capricorn Clark is still helping Cassie by saying, I don't think she was talented and I don't think she was that hard of a worker. She got what she got because she was his girlfriend, because that is the government's case. Now, does it help Cassie's reputation individually? No, it doesn't probably. But that's not the point. They're trying to make a case. They're making a criminal case. This is not a PR case, it's a criminal case. Let me refresh. When wasn't she a hard worker? Agnifilo asks. Well, she preferred to be with her boyfriend. when we moved to LA after Kim had the twins, like 2009-ish, I saw her developing more of a relationship with Mr. Combs. So 2009 is when Capricorn started seeing Cassie develop more of a relationship with Diddy because she had moved to be near him. So when was she not a hard worker? About 2009. That's when it started. That's what Capricorn is saying. Now, some of y'all are going to say, you don't like how she's talking about her and stuff like that. But when you get up on the stand, you swear to tell the truth. And if it is the truth, it might hurt. It might be just the truth to her. Like we just discussed, there's like differences in definitions for things. Like I would say, no, she didn't have talent if I thought she wasn't talented. But apparently you can only be talented if you're Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey. Let's see. I'm waiting for more tweets. Oh my God, the AstroTurf bots. Another one. Oh, it's like swatting flies in here. Okay. We do have another update from CNN. Okay. So when wasn't she a hard worker? And Capricorn said, well, she preferred to be with her boyfriend. When we moved to LA after Kim had the twins, 2009-ish, I saw her developing more of her relationship with Diddy. He supported her, didn't he? Yeah. With stylists, other musicians, all the components to make a star. Did she get more help than others? Yes. Young Jock and groups from Atlanta. I developed French Montana. Okay. It does make Cassie as a person, as an artist, as a whatever, maybe not look the greatest, but y'all have to remember what the criminal case is saying. What is the government saying? Exactly this. She got in special treatment and propped up because of a quid pro quo for what she was doing with freak-offs. But if she wouldn't do the freak-offs, he would snatch all that right away. So he also held the key to her rise, but also demise. So again, you gotta just step a little bit out of the mindset that the AstroTurf bots have gotten us into to be stands and like wholeheartedly without any context and any nuance at all whatsoever, just fully support only one side, like that's your mama or your sister or something. We got to get to the truth. And if it is the truth, Cassie didn't have talent, which I don't agree with. I think that she did have talent and I think she was talented, but Capricorn Clark is the one up here telling the truth, nothing but the truth, whole truth. I'm not on that stand. Okay. And so she's saying, yeah, Cassie was favored. She started to get a little big for her britches. She thought I was just there to just make her life good. And she was bit catty or whatever it mean. But Diddy is the reason she was propped up. That is the government's case. They are saying, yes, he did destroy her career. Yes, he did keep her from being able to have a career, but also that he was the one who was her boss, who did hold those keys, who did have that leverage. And that is the power dynamic they're getting into. Not only her boss, but her boyfriend and her FO partner, etc. Okay, CNN has another update. Ooh, wow. Capricorn Clark just turned into a defense witness, y'all. Woo, she's helping him out. I'll tell you what I mean. Let's read through this. This is CNN.com. And the reporters for this are Lauren Delval, Nikki Brown, Kara Scannell, and Elizabeth Wagmeister, who I do appreciate Elizabeth Wagmeister's work. Okay, Clark testifies relationship. So Capricorn Clark testifies that her relationship with Cassie changed over time. She says Diddy's She said Capricorn testified she and Cassie started to develop some issues around 2008. She got a little bit more bravado as being his girlfriend the longer it lasted. She went from being more of a sweet model to like a feisty girlfriend. And oh my God, do I have some do I have some experiences with some people's girlfriends going from sweet models to feisty girlfriends? Yes, I do. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo asked Capricorn if she thought Cassie was very talented. She said, I think she had talent. So that was the question. That makes sense. Do you think Cassie was very talented? She said, I think she had talent. But she did testify that Cassie's live performances weren't great. And when she returned to work for Cassie in 2016, she said her substance use was preventing her from the opportunities that were before us. So now we're already starting to get a little drip, drip, like Cassie was this like, strung out, like all up on drugs by her own will, and it was really her own demise. I mean, I think that is what Diddy's lawyers are going to try and argue. And they have already started to try and argue that like no one forced her to do those substances. She was buying the substances on her own, but she's already testified. She never did no substances like that until Diddy. And she did the substances to do the freak offs. And then she became addicted to it, which is like a biological inevitability. Let's go to Inner City Press. Okay. Cassie is in labor. Breaking news. Cassie Ventura is in labor. Let's breaking news right here. This was 10:53. Cassie at hospital in labor. She must have probably had that bit. Well, she could still be in labor. That was only a few hours ago. Sometimes it lasts forever. Trading the courtroom for the hospital, and it sounds like she may be about to go into labor. Our sources tell us Cassie was rushed to a New York hospital today, and she is in labor in the delivery unit. She recently testified at the Diddy trial. Another source tells us she may be having complications. Okay, well, send prayers to Cassie. She had a big baby bump when she took the witness stand. She's about 8 months pregnant when she testified. This is her third pregnancy. Her husband watched her testimony from the gallery each day in court. And they also have 2 children together. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. All right. We get another tweet 4 minutes ago. Capricorn says, I ran into Cassie. She said she had a new deal with Epic. I dressed her like David Bowie. We did a photo shoot at my house. We wrote a mini movie and shot it for the project. What about Official Girl? Capricorn Clark said, oh, that was a super cute video. I think I used some clips of that in my Cassie AI intro song. So they dressed her like David Bowie. That's interesting. Okay, we got a new update from CNN. Less than a minute ago. Ooh. Okay. Diddy initially gave Cassie more resources than other bad boy artists, ex-assistant says. And this totally makes sense. If you're going to dump everything into this one person, you got to give them something. You can't just hold people captive. That wouldn't work. Like, you have to give them something. And the more she gave, the more she got until she decided not to give or until she crossed him, and then he would take it away. Diddy initially gave Cassie more resources than other artists, the assistant said. Diddy made sure Cassie had access to top-tier industry professionals that create stars, including producers, choreographers, and stylists. His former assistant, Capricorn Clark, testified today under cross-examination. She had more attention and resources than other artists signed with Bad Boy because in a labor, what y'all got to understand, you can't fall for the okie doke. Okay, what you have to understand, in a labor case, and this is a labor trafficking case, we're dealing with labor world, labor laws, labor trafficking. In a labor case, you are not supposed to show favoritism to your employees that you are having relations with. That's the whole point. You're not supposed to treat them differently based on the fact that you're having relations with them. And if you do, There's proof. So it might look like Capricorn Clark is throwing Cassie under the bus right now. And it might be true that she thinks she is. But in fact, from where I'm sitting, she's helping the government make their case. And I believe that is why she is a government witness. I think Mark Agnifilo is prancing right into the trap. And I think he might have just got double bluffed. That's my opinion. She had more attention and resources than other artists signed with Bad Boy, especially at the beginning of her career when they started to. From my point of view, the lion's share of Bad Boy was on Cassie in that first block of time, referring to a period of time between 2007 to 2010. She continued receiving support from Diddy even as a focus shifted to new artists, ex-employees said. New artists like Machine Gun Kelly and French Montana were getting a lot of attention at Bad Boy around 2012. But Capricorn Clark said Cassie still seemed to be getting the same amount of attention. Why? Because her job at Bad Boy Records is the government's case. Again, it looks like Capricorn is throwing her under the bus, but yet again is actually helping to lock Diddy in the slammer, okay, for the rest of his life. There were other people getting more attention. So like a reasonable business decision that you weren't emotionally or SUally invested in would just be, let's focus on them. You're not cutting it. That's how the music industry works. Get your albums done, but we got to shift our focus because we got to make a profit, right? Right? That's what a business-minded person would do. So if someone is not doing that, then the questions start to arise. Like, for example, was she doing something else for work? Was something else going on that is improper of a boss and an employee in this particular type of relationship? I mean, this is building the government's case, even though it looks like it is tearing Cassie down. Seem to be getting the same amount of attention. Even though Diddy took a step back from Cassie around 2016, 2017, she still believed that Cassie did have the same support. And this is what she believed. But of course, she was also banned from being able to be friends with Cassie. Remember, she told us that? She was banned from being able to be friends with Cassie. So how could she know? How could she know? Diddy told them they couldn't be friends no more, remember? And their relationship started to change. Now, I do think it's interesting that this Capricorn Clark did message Diddy about having a crush on him. So could there have been some jealousy at play at that time? Now, she says she doesn't remember that, but you don't have to remember that today to have meant it back then, and maybe you were jealous. 6 minutes ago, very beautiful. Cassie wasn't very talented. Diddy's ex-assistant admits on cross-examination, I think she had talent and was very beautiful. She wasn't very talented. Clark said, true. And I think, she's allowed to that opinion. I think it is difficult to compare like a Cassie to like a Whitney Houston, but who can you compare to Whitney Houston? Clark clarified she thought that Cassie was a studio artist who needed her voice to be equalized and engineered and was less of a live performer. Her opinions came out after Agnifilo asked her if she sometimes didn't get along with Cassie. She explained that after Cassie moved from being an artist under Diddy's label to dating him, tensions sometimes arose between the two women. She thought Capricorn was paid to help her. She got a little bit more bravado as the girlfriend. I'm trying to update Inner City Press. Okay. Something weird's going on. Most recent tweet we read is this David Bowie thing. So Capricorn Clark was like, I ran into Cassie. She said she had a new deal with Epic Records. I dressed her like David Bowie. We did a photo shoot at my house. We wrote a mini movie. We shot it for the project. What about Official Girl? Super cute video. What about King of Hearts? She said it was fresh. Puff liked it. Agnifilo said, Cassie had a green wig. And she said, yes, green wig. Agnifilo said, we moved to admit this witness. Now, what witness? I don't know. The assistant U.S. attorney said there's a sealing issue. So there's something going on with like something is sealed, but Agnifilo wants to put it in to evidence. You don't remember this email? Agnifilo said. Capricorn said, no, I don't. What email is it? I don't know. Because remember the government was asking to seal something about text messages or emails between Cassie and Capricorn. Okay. We have another update from New York Post 3 minutes ago. Diddy's ex-assistant testified working for him was another form of business school. This is Kyle Schnitzer, Ben Kochman, and Priscilla DeGregory. Diddy's ex-assistant, Capricorn Clark, told the jury that working for the demanding hip-hop mogul, that working for the demanding hip-hop mogul was another form of business school. Capricorn testified that she didn't think anyone else worked as hard for Diddy as for her. Again, maybe more jealousy, maybe more resentment. That isn't jealousy where it's like, I worked harder than anybody. Okay. I worked harder than anybody around there. I worked way harder than Cassie. So yeah, I mean, I guess Cassie worked hard, but definitely not as hard as me. I wasn't sleeping with the boss or whatever, right? She said she learned a lot being employed by Bad Boy Records founder. So much that it was like another form of business school if you could survive his demanding nature. She said she wanted to break the glass ceiling as to what Black people were allowed to do in the business world. Earlier, she testified that she worked from 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. the next day, which is also what one of those assistants said his hours were, and barely got breaks and was barely able to eat meals during her shifts. Sounds like these prosecutors. This is crazy, the jet thing. Love Air, Delaware. Fly Love Air Limited, inactive UK. Frontier Leasing. LoveAir.com Inc., a Florida company. Wow. Germany Love Air. What in the hell? Wow. E-resident agents. I want to look up California. Okay, thank you. Shannon said, I just found it. It is registered to 9255. Where'd you find it? This, Barbara, great point. This is explaining and proving how many people get famous without much talent. And y'all, if you look at Cassie at her prime, in her coming up era and all of that, like the 2007, like this period they're talking about, she was beautiful. She could dance okay. She could sing. She could do all the things you need to be able to do. Think about the degenerate clowns with truly no talent, who are not beautiful, who can't even sing, who can't even a little bit dance. Forget about, they're not Whitney Houston. Okay. Just, they're not even Cassie, like they're ugly. They are grotesque on purpose looking. Grotesque. They pick grotesque looking individuals, and then like a lot of it is grotesque by choice. Okay. It's not even like, I'm not even making fun of how the Lord made them. All right. It's like the songs ain't good. They're not nice to look at. They're actually annoying and grating to listen to. How are these people becoming famous? Because they're doing freak offs. Duh. Duh. Like Barbara, hello. She's telling y'all. Yeah, she was. She had the aesthetic. She was an it girl. Yes. And she was walking and clicking those heels down the yard. She was beautiful. And she can act. She is like a triple threat at least. Is she Whitney Houston? No. Did she have some shaky live performances? Probably. Maybe she is better in a studio. However, Ice Spice, anybody? What the hell is that? What is that? If she had a look, she could literally dress exactly as Cassie dressed and be a lot closer to it girl. But it's like they making them dress like clowns. Act like clowns. Sing songs about poo-poo and boo-poo and I like poopy in my scoopy. And what in the is that? What is that? You tell me, girl. I might have been born at night. It wasn't last night. Okay. Whew. We got an update from CNN. The Mucinex must have kicked in, y'all. Okay. Capricorn Clark claims Cassie was not forced to dye her hair. She helped create a new look for Cassie to show off at the MTV Music Video Awards. Oh, sorry. I don't know about this. JK Juicy Juice said, wait, what question? What about Diddler making money on the dark web? I don't know about it. Never heard that. Mm-hmm. Sussex Sandra. Bobbery Queen comes to the front for Ice Spice. I don't know who that is. Ooh, y'all are going. Yeah, the old Me and You was cute. Me and you into me. Yeah, most are industry plants. Exactly. Shout out to Nerd Report in the chat. Most are industry plants, including Machine Gun Kelly, in my opinion. Including, why does he have to look so grotesque? Also, they put him in the most grotesque outfits as well. He was not happy at Bad Boy, they say. I like poopy in my scoop. That's what she said, right? Okay, so this MTV keeps coming back up, right? VH1, MTV, it just keeps coming back up. Because this is the pipeline. This is where they would put these people on. They would put the industry plants on. And if you step out of line, you don't get to be an industry plant no more. So yes, just as Barbara, or was it Deborah, just had said, this is the pipeline. You have to do it to be on these shows. Or your nepotism, but you probably still got to do it. Like whenever Russell Simmons told Aoki Lee Simmons, you're going to go be a good servant to the world? I don't know. I'm just trying to piece it together from out here. If I'm related to these people, if they my cousins, I got kicked out. I got excommunicated. They don't tell me nothing. Okay. Clark helped create a new look for Cassie to show off at the MTV Music Video Awards that year that required her to dye her hair neon yellow. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo asked Capricorn Clark to confirm Cassie was on board with the look and had a say in the decision. Capricorn Clark testified that she did present the idea to Cassie, who liked it, before telling Diddy about it. The defense attorney explicitly asked Capricorn Clark, so Agnifilo asked, explicitly, specifically, can you please confirm Cassie wasn't forced against her will to dye her hair yellow that one time ever, that one single time in 11 years she dyed her hair? She wasn't forced, right? And Clark was like, yeah, no, Cassie was on board to dye her hair yellow that one time. Capricorn Clark says she learned of Cassie and Kid Cudi's relationship in late 2011. Former employee testified that she first learned Cassie and Kid Cudi were getting to know each other around Thanksgiving 2011. And this is about around the time that he went to her family's holiday party or whatever. It was that year, 2011. She said Kid Cudi came to her apartment to hang out once, sometime after Thanksgiving. Capricorn Clark said about a week before the alleged kidnapping, she picked up Cassie from Kid Cudi's house after Cassie had spent the night there. Oh, you know, Diddy is steaming in his seat. Fuming. Okay. Here in 2012, Agnifilo asks, you're setting up a recording session for Cassie? Capricorn said, no, it was Mario Winans. He was setting it up for the chairman. For Mr. Combs? Yeah. When did you learn Cassie was dating Kid Cudi? Capricorn said fall of 2011. I picked her up from his house. And so you believed that after Thanksgiving, Cassie and Kid Cudi were what? Capricorn said, getting to know each other. Why'd you get her a burner phone at Best Buy? I told her you cannot do this on your bad boy phone. How did you know about burner phones? She said, I grew up in LA. Fine. Oh, Kazakhstan. I want to go there real bad. I am dying to see that place. In Turkmenistan. In December 2011, this is the next question. Diddy was at an orphanage in Almaty, Kazakhstan. She said, I heard it was Russia. Oh, busted. No, he went in Kazakhstan. You can't even hardly go there. You can't even hardly go to Kazakhstan last I checked. She said, no, hell no. I heard it was in Russia. Not the vote or die witness being the one that says that he was at an orphanage in Russia. If you know, you know. Let me look it up. Almaty, Kazakhstan visit. Let's see how hard it is to get in there. I guess it ain't hard. Maybe you can go there. Oh my God, y'all. This is why I want to go. Look at it. I want to go. I want to see it. Look at it. This is what Kazakhstan looks like. Do you ever see anything like that? It's beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. Let's go to Almaty City. Should we go to like orphanage? How do you spell that? AGE? Almaty. Let's go to, oh man, this is getting weird. What was he doing at an orphanage in Kazakhstan? Like there's not orphanages down the street. They got orphanages in the projects in New Orleans. Can you go help some people over there? What does Kazakhstan have to do with anything? And then here's Capricorn Clark going, no, I heard it was Russia, girl. I don't know nothing about no Kazakhstan. Oh no, this seems odd, y'all. What is this? Why is Mark Agnifilo asking about this? I'm getting a weird feeling. Put a bunch of W's in the chat if you're getting a kind of weird feeling. What was Diddy doing over here? Because maybe I have it mixed up, but like I think it's actually like kind of hard to go to Kazakhstan. Like it's not like an open borders, like anybody come one, come all. I think it's like you got to have a special permission and I'm scared. Let's go back to inner city bread. Anybody else freaked out? Yeah, people are kind of freaked out. Yeah, okay. Yeah. What is this? He's not helping the children. Yeah, okay, wow. Okay, so y'all are freaked out too? Okay, Roscoe, true. Good point. I was saying like if he is actually helping somebody, why can't he help? Isn't he Mr. Black King God? Isn't he Mr. helping his own people? What in the hell is he doing at an orphanage in Kazakhstan? I know y'all just saw those kids. They look about whiter than me. Okay. So that's hard. That's a difficult task. All right. So Mr. Black King God isn't helping the black children. Why he's not somewhere like he's allowed to help these children. It's just confusing to me. Okay. It's confusing to me because I don't even think you can like adopt kids out of Kazakhstan. I think you can only adopt them in. Like it's, I need to look up if I'm thinking of Turkmenistan. Hold on, I gotta block some. Oh, I hope not. Keep Diddy out of New Orleans. You're funny, Roscoe. The traffic jam movement? No, I don't, Donna. That's why I said I'm scared. What is this? Non-state private family orphanage? What the hell is a private family orphanage? See, y'all, I start looking one thing up and I go all off into the woods, okay? Kazakhstan is oh my lord, y'all. Shady, they saying shady. Is this Ava Combs? Oh my God. Yeah, everybody's bringing up, oh my God, I have a stomach ache. Why was he at an orphanage? Oh my God, y'all. But the thing that's blowing my mind is his own lawyers brought it up. Okay. His own lawyer is like, he was at an orphanage in Kazakhstan, wasn't he? And Capricorn's like, I heard it was Russia. Whoo. All right. Oh my God, Jules. Where's Liz Crokin? Where is Liz Crokin? Can she enter the chat? Someone get her. Someone get Liz Crokin on the Kazakhstan orphanage. Beat. I know she's going to have an opinion. I'm waiting for my Liz Crokin was white. I'm waiting for my Liz Crokin was right. Merch. Okay. How did you know about burner phones? I grew up in Los Angeles in December 2011. So the time that Kid Cudi's car was just about to be blew up, and right after or sometime or in the same exact month as Diddy allegedly broke into Kid Cudi's house, that same month, Diddy was at an orphanage in Kazakhstan for some freaking reason. Did you hear that? Did you know that? Capricorn said no. I heard it was Russia. How did Diddy get into your building? This is the Russia gate. How did Diddy get into your building? This is the new Russia gate, everybody. This is Russia Gate 2.0, the Diddy orphanage trip. Okay, can we start calling this Russia Gate, or is that disinformation? I like this better for Russia Gate. I can't get past it. I feel like a weird feeling, and it might just be the COVID. I don't know. How did Diddy get into your building? Remember, he was pacing through the peephole. This is crazy. I am between the jet and then the jet. The Love Air jet is flying all over the place. These rich people. He was at an orphanage the same month. The car got blew up the next month. I feel sick a little bit. It could be the COVID. It could be. How did Diddy get into your building? Capricorn said, I was told the security guard got fired. What was his name? Some random security guard. What did he look like? She said it was a black guy, younger than 35, I guess. What was Diddy doing with the pew pew? He had it in his hand. Was he pointing it at you? No. But you told the government he pointed it at you. She looks at the paper and goes, it says waved it around. That's more correct. Right? So in there it says he pointed at me or waved it around. So she didn't really know. I mean, that is kind of a difference, but like, I guess, like, imagine, like, like this is where the pew pew comes out, right? Like, imagine that, and you're like, and you're just waving it around. Like, maybe it is kind of like you pointed it at him. Maybe that's what she meant. I could see that being sultry. Where did you change into street clothes? She said, in my closet. Isn't it true that you went so Diddy didn't do something stupid? She said, no. I went because he said he didn't care if I didn't want to go. He didn't care if I didn't want to go. That's what I said. He didn't care. He said, I don't give up if you want to go. You got to get in the car and go. Don't try to change my stuff up, buddy. We got a new update from CNN. Oh my God. Are they now trying to cover up for Ruben? Capricorn Clark denies telling Homeland Security agent that a security guard was with Diddy during the alleged 2011 kidnapping. But she did say that this morning, Ruben, right? Let's read further. Maybe there's some clarification. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo suggested that Capricorn Clark told an agent from Homeland Security investigations. Wow. Why was he at an orphanage? And why did Diddy's lawyer bring it up and not Maureen Comey? That's so weird. Where's Liz Crokin? On the stand, Capricorn Clark repeatedly denied saying that. She maintained that a security guard was not with Combs. She testified that Diddy demanded a security guard let them into the building that morning. The guard was fired soon after. So, okay, I think this is only talking about the part of the kidnapping story where Diddy alone by himself showed up to the apartment. She has maintained that once she left her apartment, she went into a car which was driven by Ruben. But to get into the building, it was just Diddy. And a security guard let Diddy in, but there was not a security guard with Diddy. And so I think Mark Agnifilo is maybe trying to play on words, or maybe Homeland Security misunderstood what she was saying. She did say, I think they misunderstood. She said no security guard was with Diddy. What I said was a security guard let Diddy up, a security guard at my building, because I lived in a gated building, let Diddy up to my apartment. I never said a security guard was with Diddy. I said I looked out the peephole and I saw Diddy with a GUN, because clearly Mark Agnifilo is trying to blame the security guard. That is clearly what's going on, in my opinion. They're teeing up to blame a security guard. Oh, it was a security guard and Diddy was just walking with him. The security guard had the GUN. No, she said, what? No security guard. No security guard existed. The one that was talking about let him in the building. Oh my God, look at her. And she is funny. The fact she's 84 years old, though, I have to give her a little credit. And I am so glad that this is the new look. Okay. Because the Ice Spice one needed to be retired, if you know what I mean. This is good. Slay. However, she's, but I'm not in any way mad at this look. It looks much better than previous looks. I like these glasses. I like it. I mean, the earrings are kind of a no, but everything else, like, yeah. I wish she would get something that was lined, Look at her. I mean, it is giving, I don't know, 84 years old. You got to give it to her. You do. Anyway, okay, so she arrived. She has arrived. NBC. 2 new updates. Okay, we get a little bit more information from NBC News, Adam Rice and David K. Lee. Capricorn Clark says Cassie is no Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey. She implied that Cassie had talent, but not quite to Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey levels. When the defense pushed Capricorn Clark to evaluate Cassie's singing ability, Capricorn said she wasn't a Whitney or Mariah level talent, but more of a studio artist. Clark said she had seen Cassie live a handful of times, and and maybe Cassie underperformed at that time because of nerves. She was nervous. She also said that around 2016, she thought that substance use was taking a toll on Cassie's career. Cassie got Lion's share of bad boy resources. The career of Diddy's girlfriend was an important company goal between 2007 and 2010. In that time, Cassie seemed to receive the lion's share of bad boy. From my perspective, the lion's share of bad boy was on Cassie in that first block of time. Let's go to Washington Post with 4 new updates here. All right. So we have 34 minutes ago, Anne Brannigan giving us more details about that first time Capricorn left in 2006. Clark questioned about decision to leave Combs in 2006. While cross-examining Capricorn Clark, defense attorney Mark Agnifilo picked up on a line of questioning he started before the lunch break, during which he asked Capricorn Clark about her decision to stop working for Diddy in 2006. This morning, she said she left her job as Diddy's assistant that year after he got violent with her at his Miami home. She then got a job at Jive Zomba, working on projects for R. Kelly and Sierra. Automatic thing. Oh, that's Miss. Wait. To my chest. Everybody, my and Bobby came. Is that Sierra? Everybody with it. Everybody, my and Bobby came to party, grab somebody. Sierra's in the house. It's both of them, Missy Elliott and no, is it? No. Cute, pay money. Those are 2 different songs, right? Girl, I don't know. I got fever brain. Okay, 7 minutes ago, Capricorn. I love it. No, that's one song. Whew. Anyway, okay. So she was over there with Sierra. Okay, so then 7 minutes ago, Anne Brannigan, Washington Post, Capricorn Clark has been. It's 1 2 step, not goodies. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's both of them, right? Mr. Meetings in the house. It's both of them. Okay. Woo! Cute, faith, heavyweight. I love that. I knew every single word to that one. I had that on my pink razor. I had that on my pink Motorola razor. Yes, I did. I don't know. It seems like I did. Maybe I didn't. A member of Sean Combs' inner circle for years. She appeared nervous. Oh. Okay, look. We're getting some insight into how Capricorn is up on the stand. Capricorn Clark has been an interesting and very animated presence on the stand. A member of Diddy's inner circle for years, she appeared nervous and emotional at times. She choked up, recalling several violent incidents involving Diddy. And again, she choked up when describing how much she loved her work as a creative director. At times, Capricorn Clark appeared to shrink in her chair, but she also seemed self-assured under cross-examination, pushing back on questions from Mark Agnifilo, Diddy's attorney. She was especially confident when talking about her work and recalling various meetings and personalities. Her nails were also notable. The former creative director occasionally talks with her hands, and she is sporting long, dark, pointed nails. I hope they give us a picture. 6 minutes ago, Shayna Jacobs, WashingtonPost.com, Ventura, that's Cassie, grew more entitled as she dated Diddy. She became more entitled and less devoted to her career when she began dating Diddy. His former employee testified on cross-examination. Again, this backs up the government's case because the government has said the reason Cassie had a dip in her career is not only because Diddy was holding her back, but Cassie herself said she wasn't able to focus on her career because she was recovering half the week from freak-offs and doing freak-offs the other half. So actually, Capricorn Clark is really helping the government's case into helping put Diddy away for good. She held various positions at the companies. She said Cassie's expectation level was increasing as if her status had changed by dating Diddy. Years after she left his employ, Diddy hired her again to assist Cassie with a record deal. She got a little bit more bravado being his girlfriend the longer it lasted. Like sometimes she thought I was being paid to help her. But that part of the answer was struck from the record because that was Capricorn Clark's job. She got hired to help Cassie. So that was her job. So if Cassie thought that, then she was right. She went from being a sweet model to a feisty girlfriend. The defense has argued that while Cassie was physically abused, so this is Diddy, and Diddy's lawyers have said, oh yeah, he definitely abused her for sure. She wasn't trafficked and she took part in the freak-offs voluntarily. They have said that she was heavily focused on being around Diddy as much as possible, but she was never forced to do anything. Cassie has been driven by chronic jealousy over the fact that Diddy was never fully committed to her. This is what Diddy's lawyers have suggested. Clark's testimony could serve to suggest that Cassie craved the stature that came along with being with Diddy. And it could be, but she already said that. I wanted to be around him for the reasons everybody else wanted to be around him. He was everything. He was a god. He was not a god among larger than life. I loved me when it was good. It was good. But that don't mean he couldn't have trafficked somebody. Capricorn Clark testifies 2 minutes ago, CNN.com, that she's not sure how Diddy and security entered Kid Cudi's property. The defense attorney questioned Capricorn Clark on how Diddy and the security guard got through the gate surrounding Kid Cudi's property. She says she had no idea. Their backs were to her and she wasn't paying close attention to what they were doing. I was praying that Cudi wasn't inside there. So she's like, I don't recall. I don't know. Okay. The most recent inner city press tweet that we get is this one right here. This one we read already. Where did you change into your street clothes? She said, in my closet. Isn't it true that you went with Diddy so he wouldn't do something stupid? She said, no, I went because I didn't have a choice. He said, he don't give up if I don't want to go. I had to go. Is he a jealous guy? She said, he has a bad temper. Agnifilo said, all right, to the Escalade. Did you pass a security guard? She said, yeah, I saw him in his little hut. Diddy was behind the driver with a pew-pew on his lap. You made a call? She said, not then. Did you look at Kid Cudi's door to see if they could get through it? Because remember, Kid Cudi just said, my door was not locked. I did not lock my door that day. It was unlocked. And so they just walked in probably. That does make a difference if your door is unlocked with actually breaking something open. Because then they can just say oh, he knew Diddy was on the way, so he just let himself in. versus no, the door was clearly obviously locked and you had to bust the lock open. Did you look at Kid Cudi's door to see if they could get through it? She said, I wasn't paying attention to that. I was so in my head trying to plan my next step. I was praying that Kid Cudi wasn't in there. Did Cassie have 2 rooms? She said, well, Kid Cudi took her to 1 room and she did have another one. Agnifilo said, are you 100% sure that you called and told them Diddy has a gun? She said, yes. And I said it very quickly. I did not want Diddy to see me on the phone. Somebody, Tiff Talks 22 said, did Cassie have 2 rooms? Diddy still trying to find out if Kid Cudi hit? He was trying to find it out. The judge didn't let him ask. Okay, Lauren London is entering the chat. Some of y'all were trying to tell me that was what's her name? Sister earlier. Capricorn Clark's sister is Lauren London. Some of y'all were trying to tell me, are we gonna talk about that? And whoever in the we is. So I guess Lauren London has now entered the chat. We do have a tweet. Agnifilo says, did you say that Lauren London was on the phone with you and Cassie and Kid Cudi? No. Agnifilo does do this. He says, so you said you were friends for 12 years, right? And knowing full well it was 17. But it's like almost like to get him to say, but why'd you say earlier that it was a da-da-da-da? But people that are telling the truth or that have practiced a lot, they don't trip up like that. Did you say Lauren London was on the phone with you and Cassie and Kid Cudi? She's like, no, I did not say that. Just part of the time. I actually wanted someone to know where I was. So she called to do a check-in. Remember you used to go on those Tinder dates or the Hinge dates or the Bumble dates or the whatever and they're calling it now dates, and you would share your location with your friend. That's what she was doing with Lauren London. She's like, no, I just called her to tell her where I was. What did you tell her? She said, I told her I was scared of mountain lions. Ooh, what is this? Mountain lions. What's the mountain lions? That's what I want to know. I'm just checking through the other sources. Okay, this is the pinned one 4 hours ago, 14 minutes ago. 84. Okay, we already did her. We already did that. Let's see if People Magazine has anything. Probably not. Yeah, we already read that. Okay, so People Magazine stopped reporting for the day, I guess. Let's go Fox News. Okay, 2 minutes ago, Fox News said Diddy was livid as hell after finding out about Cassie's romance with Kid Cudi. Is that Sam Lutfi? No. Capricorn Clark's cross-examination turned back until the night Diddy allegedly kidnapped her and forced Capricorn to go with him. Is it a night? I thought it was 5:30 in the morning. Allegedly kidnapped her and forced the former assistant to go with him to Kid Cudi's house. Diddy allegedly showed up at Capricorn's door around 6 in the morning after he found out Cassie had been romantically involved with Kid Cudi. She explained that Diddy came to the gate livid as hell and demanded to be let into her apartment building. She said the security guard was fired after that. She testified that Diddy was furious, seemingly on another level of fury. Another level of fury. She also confirmed he did have a pew-pew in his hand. She clarified she never told the government the pew-pew was pointed at her. She said she had multiple meetings. She claims she said at multiple meetings that Diddy did not point it at her, but rather he was waving it around. What is this? I'm just checking this. Did y'all see Brigitte Macron domestic abuse the president of France or the prime minister or whatever he is? Okay, new update NBC. Okay. Of course, as I predicted, as I suspected, the defense is going this route. Capricorn, 1 minute ago, 2:35 p.m., NBC News, Adam Rice and Gavin Lasig said Capricorn Clark continued doing business with Diddy after she claims she was kidnapped. The defense presented Capricorn Clark with emails from her work at Bad Boy Records January 2012, just 3 weeks after she said she was kidnapped by Diddy. When asked if she continued conducting business with Diddy, even after telling the jury she was kidnapped and threatened with murder, she said, yes, I did. Yeah, I did. It's true. I did do that. Yep. Okay, we're back to the mountain lions. Oh my God, y'all. Mountain lions. That's a code word. Okay, so the most recent thing we saw was 5 minutes ago. Did you say Lauren London was on the phone with you and Cassie and Kid Cudi? No. I was only on the phone with her part of the time. Her voice was cracking this time. She's like crying on the sand again. She said, I wanted someone to know where I was. Agnifilo said, what did you tell Lauren London? She said that I'm scared of mountain lions. Mountain lions? Agnifilo asked. I don't know if you know the Hollywood Hills. There's coyotes. Maybe Lauren was on the phone. Maybe. It was such a long time ago. Are you aware that Lauren and Mr. Combs were friends for years after this? She said, yes. Uh-oh. She's going to be one of the defense witnesses, maybe? Let's see. What the heck? The stuff they put on the New York Post, y'all. All right, should we go back to this? Like, what in the hell is going on with these orphanages? Okay, well, why are there so many of them? Every time I start looking at this orphanage stuff, I get scalp chills. If you're just joining, Mark Agnifilo, Diddy's lawyer, is now questioning Capricorn Clark, who's Diddy's former assistant, who was like in the car on the day of the Kid Cudi going into his house and all that. Mark Agnifilo asked Capricorn Clark, were you aware that in December 2011, Diddy was at a orphanage in Almaty, Kazakhstan? And Capricorn Clark answers back, I thought it was Russia. I thought he was at a Russian orphanage. But there was like pictures of these kids and stuff. What is this? What is this? Public services. Why do they have all these orphans in Kazakhstan? Can someone tell me? Hold on, I gotta get rid of some AstroTurf bots in here. Yes, Mountain Valley Water. Yeah, not sponsored. Although they do sponsor podcasts. War? Oh, there's war. And so the kids didn't have parents. Okay, that makes sense. Right. Why is he in? I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna Google Diddy, Kazakhstan. I'm gonna say Diddy, Russia, orphan age 2011. Y'all. Okay, wait a second. Wait, there's pictures. Hold on. Look. Kazakhstanis remember with horror P. Diddy's visit to Almaty Orphanage this 8 months ago in the Reddit Diddy party. I'm just on the Reddit. Okay. Interesting. So these are the Kazakhstan people. I mean, it says Kazakhstani. I don't know if that's like what they actually refer to themselves as. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. I don't know what this says. Maybe ChatGPT. Okay, so the story of P. Diddy's visit to Almaty in 2011 has once again come to the spotlight following his recent arrest on suspicion of human trafficking and solicitation of prostitution. Kazakhs on social media, especially TikTok, have taken to remembering his trip to orphanage number 2 in Almaty, which at the time seemed like a kind and charitable act. Y'all, this is crazy. This is 8 months ago on Reddit. Archival footage shows the rapper visiting children, giving gifts, and accepting souvenirs in return. But now, in light of the allegations against him, the public is beginning to question the real motives behind his visit. Why did his lawyer ask about it? What the hell? This is crazy. Now, okay. The producer explained he doesn't often go on such visits and that he ended up in Kazakhstan at the invitation of unnamed friends. Okay, so then in parentheses, it's like corrupt officials, influential people. He left the orphanage with a child and Kazakh national clothes. No one knows if the kid is alive or what happened to the kid. Okay, take it for what it is. Take it with a grain of salt. This is a Reddit post. We don't know. I mean, all I know is like I've seen these pictures. I can't read this. Oh my God. Quote, this is an orphanage. Corruption is rampant in Kazakhstan. Imagine he took the kids from there too. I remember how in the 2000s, American rich people adopted children from orphanages in Kazakhstan. It's all somehow so strange and no one knows what happened to kids. In the photo, you recognize Dariga Nazar Bayeva. Nazar. That is a name that I believe Lima's family started to take on. And that is the Mo last name, Nazar. You can recognize Dariga Nazarbayeva's eldest son, Nurali Aliyev, next to Diddy. In Kazakhstan in 2015, 7 orphanages were closed after P. Diddy. No one knows where the children from the orphanages went. There's links. The children disappeared after the rapper's arrival? This cannot be true. I mean, it can be true. I'm just holding out hope. Look, there's links. I'm going to put it in the chat for y'all to see what I'm actually looking at. That's a Reddit post, though, y'all. Like, just take it with a grain of salt. There's links. I'm just putting the link here. There's links. There's links. You see them? I don't want to get too lost in this. Maybe I need to make a BJ Investigates. Let me know if I need to make a BJ Investigates. I need to learn how to speak all the languages. Russian. It's Russian. Okay, let's see. No, show me how do I do the auto dubbing, y'all? Come on. Please, I need someone who can speak Russian. I'm putting this link in the chat too. Oh my God, y'all. It isn't Russian. Okay, Chris Blessing said it's not Russian. I'm just telling you what it said up at the top. It said auto translate Russian. So whatever it is, I just put it in the chat. Okay, hold on. Let's go back to these links. Let's do one that's not a video because then I can press translate. What's this? Oh my God, y'all. My heart is beating fast. This is the same year as the Kid Cudi thing, y'all. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Where's the translate? Come on. Translate. What the hell? English. Yes. Ha. Oh. Pfft. Come on. I don't care about your China business ties. Go to the Diddy thing. Oh, this is 2015. Oh, I can't read it. Shoot. I got to learn Kazakhstan. Get Borat. Why is the Diddy lawyer bringing this up? Indeed. Why? It is Russian. Arindaleka. Sarah. Cassie is in labor. I know I already said that. Okay, so let's go back to what's going on inside court right now. But come on. Victoria's like, I'm cracking up. Google Translate don't do videos. Don't do videos. The feds got him. Domino's fall. Someone's saying this has to do with Avicii. Who's saying Avicii? Thank you, Iris, for the €2 super chat. You're doing awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Hudson, for the $4.99. I don't know if this was stated. Capricorn was on multiple episodes of Making the Band. She should have been paid for that too. Okay. Thank you, Hudson, Saint and Co. I used to work with these people. She goes on. Thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Feels like that article is deterring a little bit. Boats and yachts are used for moving way more than private planes are. Planes still have to go through customs. Okay. Interesting. Thanks so much. Laura Frank said she looked it up. Thank you for the $5.99 super chat. Love Air LLC registered address is the same as Kylie Jenner. Interesting. Laub said, under RICO charge, the feds can seize all assets, right? I mean, I thought maybe not. I do think you should be able to, like still like make money, but maybe not fly out of the country? I don't really know. I would like to hear an expert on it. Thank you for the £2 super chats. Okay, let's go back to inner city press. I'm wanting to go back to that Kazakhstan research. Very interesting. Very interesting. You know, Lou Taylor, Diddy's business manager, has an orphanage herself called La Quai Tulum in Haiti. And I made a video about this before on BJ Investigates. I mentioned it in a video, but it appears that like at least one of the kids went missing. They lost one. So did lost it in the woods, lost it to malaria, lost how? I don't know. Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but it was on a public video. Publicly accessible video. Okay. So last we checked in with our good friend Capricorn Clark on the witness stand. She is undergoing cross-examination. She was talking about the mountain lions thing. She's like, I don't know, the Hollywood Hills, there's coyotes, like, yeah, like dogmen, whatever. These people, like, I'm scared of mountain lions. Okay, so then you see Kid Cudi's Porsche coming up the hill. Yeah. Kid Cudi's in the black Porsche. He stops next to us, then he speeds off, and we chase him in the car. Then what happens? Agnifilo said. She said he loses us. We turn away. Then police pass us. So he gets too far away. We can't catch up to him. So we turn around. And as we're turning around, going the opposite direction, the police pass us up. We cross paths. Okay, so then you go and pick up Cassie, and then you go where? She said, then we go to Kid Cudi's house. There was ADT there. I don't know what that is. Oh, security system, I think. Okay, fine. So then you go to Diddy's house and you say you see Diddy kicking Cassie there and even saw him kick her in the street. She said, yep, sure did. One new update, Washington Post, sorry. Okay, Anne Brannigan 5 minutes ago. Defense looks to weaken Clark's kidnapping claim. Diddy's lead counsel, Mark Agnifilo, is trying to chip away at Capricorn Clark's claim that Diddy kidnapped her in 2011, December 2011. Was he going to bring her to that orphanage? Suggesting instead that Clark made the choice to join Combs because she wanted to stop her boss from doing something stupid, right? Like, just out of absolutely nowhere, no one has ever suggested anything other than Capricorn had no choice but to get by gunpoint into that car. Here's Mark Agnifilo. But isn't it true that you like only went with him because to stop him from doing something stupid? Didn't you just want to stop him from doing something stupid? She said, no, I did not want to go. He made me. She testified that Diddy, armed with a pew-pew, took her against her will to Kid Cudi's house after Diddy discovered that Kid Cudi and Cassie were dating. But Agnifilo pointed to comments that Capricorn Clark allegedly made during a meeting between Clark herself and Teeny Garagos, who's also one of Diddy's lawyers. Allegedly, Capricorn Clark said she went with Diddy so he wouldn't do something stupid. She apparently said that in the meeting. That comment might undermine her claim that she was kidnapped. See, when I told y'all they'd never ever planned on offering her a job ever. It was all just a ruse. I have documentary companies and literally intelligence agencies. Somebody contacted me before from a private intelligence agency and said they wanted to talk to me about two guys I was investigating, these Serbian nationals that are conducting business in the United States. And it was obvious the whole time they were just trying to see what I knew. So I was like, okay, well, yeah, I mean, sounds good. That's all I know. All I know is what I have public. I don't sit on stuff. I just say it. So they will try to contact you to get intel collection, and that's all they were doing, in my opinion. They never, ever planned to have Capricorn Clark come back and work for Diddy. Ever, ever. It was all just to do exactly what they just did. Well, that's not what you told us. That's not what Teeny Garagos had wrote down in her book. That was the whole point. Mission accomplished. In my opinion. Clark pushed back, saying she did not recall making that comment and that her fear of Diddy doing something stupid wasn't the reason she left her apartment. I did not want to go. It was not my choice, sir. And again, like just a little notebook from Teeny ain't going to really probably get too far. It was just to try and shake her. So maybe she didn't say that. Maybe she didn't even say it. But by virtue of the fact she sat in a room with them and she didn't record the call, now it's he said, she said, with two lawyers and one Capricorn. You gotta be, stay woke, aware, as it were. Okay. So now we're talking about Capricorn saying she hung up on the fire inspector. Last tweet that we read, you go to pick up Cassie and go where? Kid Cudi's house. There was like, I think ADT is like the security system. There was security there. Okay, so then you go to Diddy's house and you say you see Diddy kicking Cassie there in the house and even in the street. Yeah. And you hung up on the fire inspector. Yeah. When you were on vacation, it was with who? Rihanna. Rihanna has entered the chat. Isn't she a Rock Nation or no? After you were fired, what job did you get? I was hired by Chris Lighty to work for 50 Cent. Y'all, she does have some possible conflicts. But then again, she's worked for all of them. So if she has conflicts, it might just be because who she likes most from working. I don't know. She worked for 50 Cent. That's one of Diddy's big rivals. Okay, let me go back over here. Let's see. Let me go ask ChatGPT what this is. I want to ask ChatGPT what this Kazakhstan orphanage thing says. Hey, Queen, can you translate this thing from Kazakhstan's definitely spelled wrong? Oh, I spelled it right. Okay. They're saying it's Russian. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. Seven orphanages. This is the ChatGPT translation. I didn't translate it. I don't know if it's true. 7 orphanages closed in Kazakhstan this year. This is 2015. So a year before the Intercontinental incident, if you're keeping track with this as far as the Diddy line. Kazakhstan closed 7 orphanages consecutively. This information was shared during a briefing at the Central Communication Service by somebody. A member of the National Commission on Family and Women's Affairs under the President Director of Baurzan Public Charity Fund. As a result, the number of orphanages in Kazakhstan decreased from 195 to 188. Whoever this Omar Bakova, that's another one of Lima's family names is Omar. Omar, Nazar, the gang's all here. Noted that in 2011, their foundation conducted a survey called What do orphaned children need? The survey revealed that children primarily need attention. Unfortunately, in orphanages, caregivers cannot provide individual attention to every child due to time constraints. She recalled that Dariga Nazar Bayeva, which is the one they were mentioning in another one about the Diddy, like this Dariga person was at the orphanage in 2011, 4 years prior with Diddy. That's what was reported. That person previously suggested closing large orphanages from the Soviet era and replacing them with smaller family type homes. Who's in the small family rehab home business, everybody? They're trying to put us in these little things that are basically concentration camps. They're trying to call them different stuff. Orphanages, schools, rehabs, sober living. They're trying to call them anything and everything, but you can't leave. You can't leave. And they want us all in them. And preferably, in my opinion, hooked up to VR. And don't forget the Aura connection to Serbia. Okay, we're right here. See what I mean? Had previously suggested closing large orphanages from the Soviet era, replacing them with these small sober home type family homes, which if it's all meant for good, great. I agree. Let's close down the children's asylums. Agreed. Completely. But why are there so many orphans? Because in my experience, even poor people, even people in wars, the number one most important thing to them is their family. They're not just handing their kids off. Even if they're hungry, they're going to all as a family try to get food. It's very rare just handing kids off. Maybe not. Maybe not. I've never been to Kazakhstan. I told you I want to go. For instance, in this one region, 10 family type homes were established and a children's town was built. A children's town in Kazakhstan? What the hell is going on? Omar Bakova shared encouraging news. I need some. The number of orphaned children in Kazakhstan is decreasing. Are they going to Diddy's house? I mean, what is going on here? Currently, there's 32,000 registered orphan children in the country. What the fuck? What is going on here? Okay, we have updates in Diddy's trial. Oh my God, y'all. The orphanage thing is freaking me out. I'm freaked out. Anybody else freaked out? Shout out to Nerd Report. Thank you for the $5. Shout out to That Surprise Witness for delivering excellent coverage, even while not feeling her best. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Nerd Report. Y'all go check out Nerd Report. Yep. Is Popcorn playing in the chat? If so, shout out to Andy in the chat. If not, still shout out to Andy in the chat. Children in Russian orphanages are kicked out at 13. Okay. No birth control. Is that true? You just making that up? Some people were not raised with a moral compass. Okay. Empowered Wendy said, no, something's weird. Colin. I don't know who Colin is. What is a children's town? That's what I want to know. Okay. We do have I know. I got to investigate the orphanage, y'all. But I did tell y'all that I was going to start investigating and working in some like little side investigations during the trial. So I did want to do that too. We have an update 10 minutes ago, CNN.com. Diddy used Capricorn Clark's phone to call Cassie before chasing Kid Cudi. So Diddy used Capricorn Clark's phone. Yeah, so she already testified this. We read this earlier. Diddy would periodically come outside of Kid Cudi's house, but his security guard stayed inside, according to Capricorn Clark. She testified that on one occasion, Diddy checked her phone and then called Cassie from it, asking whose number it was. The call was cut off when they heard Kid Cudi's car approaching. When Kid Cudi sped off, Diddy and the security guard jumped into a car and chased him. Y'all, there's going to be so many YouTube videos about this orphanage. I just feel it. Everyone's going to be like, what? You notice no other news sources reported on it except Inner City Press, and that's why he's the GOAT. Okay. 18 minutes ago, we have an update, NBC News. Adam Rice, Ying Fang, and David Cayley. Capricorn Clark says that Kid Cudi was on speakerphone when she tried to warn Cassie. He's in my house? ? Clark testified that she had to tip Cassie off that Diddy was armed and hunting for Kid Cudi at his house. On the morning Diddy sought to confront Kid Cudi, Clark said she managed to sneak in a call to Cassie on the burner phone, and Cassie just happened to be with Kid Cudi at the moment. She said she could hear Kid Cudi on speaker reacting to this threat in the background, saying, he's in my house? Capricorn Clark dodged LA Fire Department investigators on Kid Cudi car fire. The one-time Combs assistant admitted that she didn't help Los Angeles fire investigators in their probe of Kid Cudi's car getting torched. When an LA Fire Department representative called her in the summer of 2012, Clark hung up on the investigator and never called back. She said she simply didn't, quote, want to have anything to do with this any longer. I'm going to see if Inner City Press said anything else. Okay. Okay, next question. Have you ever written to Mr. Combs, one day you'll forgive me? Anyway, be well, XX? She said, yup. You wrote, February 28th, 2015, your grace period to be mad at me has surpassed the agreed time. You wrote that? Yes, sir. Please read that out loud. And Capricorn Clark said, I wrote, she was never my friend. She wanted me gone. I realized. Did you think Cassie wanted you gone? She starts crying. Sorry. This is complicated for me. I felt that I was Puff's protector. I felt I was the only one gone. Diddy, sorry. Cassie was still there and things were getting worse. I tried to keep professionalism as the goal. You thought you could be Diddy's protector? Agnifilo asked. It was to move the ball toward the goal, to inspire. Girl, she's letting all the cult talk he taught them out. It's just all a bunch of corporate buzzwords that they just like adopt and think it's a lifestyle, and it's not their fault. They're obviously traumatized into it. But it's like, I was trying to move the ball toward the goal to inspire. Because Diddy probably had so many long talks with him like that. Did it hurt that Diddy would only take you back because Cassie wanted it? She said, yeah, it hurt. I have no parents. My son is autistic. My stakes are higher, sir. How much more do you have of this, Mark Agnifilo? The judge butts in. Agnifilo says, can I talk to the government? The judge says, come up here. Everybody come up here. Let's do a little meeting, a little sidebar. Rihanna comes up for the second time at the Diddy trial. This is a New York Post. Ben Kochman, Kyle Schnitzer, Priscilla Gregory. Diddy's ex-assistant testified she once went on a vacation with Rihanna. And remember, the other time Rihanna came up was Mila Morales. Used to do her makeup for a long time. So this was August 2012. Capricorn Clark was Diddy's employee from 2004 to 2012. She was asked by Mark Agnifilo what she was doing in August 2012. I was on vacation with Rihanna. Clark wasn't asked any further questions about that trip. Rihanna's name was brought up at least one time last week during the testimony of celebrity makeup artist Mila Morales, who said her clients included Rihanna, J-Lo, and Diddy's longtime girlfriend, Cassie. Okay. We got another update from NBC News 2 minutes ago. This is Adam Rice, Ying Fang, and Doha Madani. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo entered an email Capricorn Clark, had sent to Diddy back in September 2014. Clark had asked for his forgiveness. The email was sent 2 years after Diddy fired her and about 2 years before she returned to work for him again. In the email, Clark wrote that hopefully Diddy will forgive her soon and that she felt like he forgave everyone but her. Other emails also were brought up in court today, including one from months later where Capricorn Clark said she wanted to be his friend again. Clark seemed angry with Cassie, saying she was clearly never a real friend. Okay, so Capricorn Clark was in this email, like pissed off at Cassie. She was like, she obviously was never my real friend. She wanted me gone. And y'all, if it's not the Mod Wars, the prequel, like, if you know, you know. Clark broke down sobbing on the witness stand, saying the situation was complicated for her and that she felt she was Cassie's protector. She apologized to the judge for her crying, and the judge assured her she did not need to be sorry. He's cute. Or like sweet, like that. Okay, let's see. 4 minutes ago, Capricorn Clark prayed Kid Cudi wasn't home when Diddy allegedly threatened to unalive him. During her cross-examination, Capricorn was asked by Diddy's lawyers about what happened once the two arrived at Kid Cudi's home. Capricorn claimed that their backs were to her, so she didn't see them going in the house. She wasn't really engaged on how they were getting into the house. Instead, she testified she was looking for an opportunity to use the phone. She was praying that Kid Cudi wasn't actually inside there. She testified that she could see into the front door of the home, but she couldn't see anything further. Former New York Police Department Inspector Paul Morrow says testimony is going to get worse before it gets better. During an appearance on Outnumbered, I don't know what that means. Maybe it's a Fox show or something. Mauro discussed the various charges Diddy faces as the second week of the testimony continues in the federal S crimes trial. He said focus on the racketeering charge is important. Quote, and now we have CNN and Fox both having their own little experts saying exactly the same thing. So it kind of gives it more credibility because usually they would be disagreeing with each other. They agree. Quote, that means it was organizational. But he's the only one charged, which means the other people in the organization have likely been flipped against him, and they're going to testify on what they saw and heard. Woo! The cheese stands alone, you know? Regarding the March 2024 raids on Diddy's homes, this expert they had noted they got film, so who knows what's on that film? Who knows who else is in those films? This guy's orbit was poisonous. One more update. Less than a minute ago, we got CNN.com saying Capricorn Clark testified that she pleaded with Diddy for forgiveness after she got fired. She broke into sobs as she looked at emails she sent Diddy in 2014 and 2015 asking him to forgive her. She testified earlier in the day that although she was officially fired in 2012 over a vacation she took, she believed Diddy actually fired her because she was upset about the knowledge of Cassie and Kid Cudi's relationship. She said she felt like she was actually a protector for Combs. Now, I'm seeing two different things reported. I'm seeing it be reported that Capricorn Clark said she was Cassie's protector, but also Diddy's. And since Inner City Press is the one that said that Diddy's protector, and there's two of them that say that, I'm going to go with that. But there was elsewhere where it was said, yeah. She said she felt like she was a protector. This is literally Mod Wars. Monica, Birmingham Leprechaun, is this not verbatim what we've heard? She said she felt like she was a protector for Combs and she didn't have anyone looking out for him on the staff. But then she went to Combs and said, and it was like talking mess about Cassie. She was like, oh, she never was my friend. She never was my friend. So it's like, who is she actually loyal to? The person she was hired by or the person she was hired to work for? It's just, didn't have anyone looking out for him without her on the staff. That email is me pleading like, dude, let it go. She said through tears. She's hurt because she believed at the time. She believed at the time Cassie wanted her fired. And I don't know why she would believe that because she wasn't even allowed to talk to Cassie. Diddy is the one who said Cassie and her couldn't be friends no more. It also bothered her that she believed Diddy only hired her again in 2016 because Cassie wanted to work with her. He didn't want her back. Cassie wanted her back. And she had already said all this mess about Cassie, and Cassie was the one that was actually wanting her to come back and work. That's probably why she's crying. She might realize she was deceived and feel guilty or something. Okay, remember the South of France thing? Remember the South of France? This is the second time the South of France is coming up. Many times Italy has come up. Capricorn Clark just said she vacationed in the south of France and Italy with Rihanna in 2012, years after she was fired from employment with Diddy. Throughout her testimony, Capricorn Clark has acknowledged having a number of famous friends and acquaintances from her time. Okay, so is this them trying to say Jay-Z set her up? That set Diddy up. Because 2012 is whenever the infamous car blowing up incident happened. And 2012 is whenever she went to the south of France and Italy with Rihanna. Why is this woman being invited to go on vacations with people like Rihanna? Maybe she's just super cool and fun. I don't know. Throughout her testimony, she has acknowledged having a number of famous friends and acquaintances from her time in the music industry. 3 minutes ago, we get another post or another update from Anne Brannigan, Washington Post. More details on Capricorn Clark's call to Cassie Ventura during the alleged break-in. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo pressed Capricorn Clark to recall the events of December 22nd, 2011. I don't know. This is whenever December 2011 is the kidnapping and breaking in, entering. January 2012 is the car boom boom situation, right? And sometime during this December, Diddy was at either a Russian or a Kazakhstan orphanage. Okay. Okay, so Agnifilo is picking apart details from her testimony. Agnifilo homed in on Clark's recollection of being in front of Kid Cudi's house with Diddy and a security staffer. That's Ruben. After the trio pulled up to Kid Cudi's home, Capricorn Clark previously testified that Diddy said in a rage that he was going to unalive Kid Cudi, and that once outside his home, she called Cassie to tell her what was happening. Capricorn Clark said she wasn't aware that Kid Cudi was with Cassie at the time, and Kid Cudi overheard the conversation, and Capricorn recalled telling Cassie, Diddy's at Kid Cudi's house. Agnifilo pressed Capricorn Clark on whether she was sure she had said that Diddy had a GUN. She said, yes, I am sure. She said that is a detail that had not been mentioned by Cassie or Kid Cudi when they took the stand. She said, I had no doubt. I told them he had a GUN. Pressed to supply more details about a call she said she made to actress Lauren London at the time of the alleged break-in, Clark eventually said it was a long time ago. She may not remember when and in what order she made the calls. That's believable. Unbelievable. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo wraps up his cross-examination, but even though court was technically over 13 minutes ago, it appears the judge is directing Mitzi Steiner, the assistant U.S. attorney, to start the redirect of this witness. He's probably trying to get this witness finished and over with so she doesn't have to come back tomorrow for 7 minutes. Okay, we already got the Rihanna. Don't tempt me to go back to the Kazakhstan investigation, okay? Okay, let's go to Intercity Press. So redirect has, I guess, begun. Yeah. Okay, so we do actually have a couple more follow-up questions from Mark Agnifilo. My camera's shaking. Okay. All right. So last we were here, they did go to that sidebar, right? Like Agnifilo was like, did it hurt that he would only take you back because Cassie wanted? She said, yeah, I have no parents, for one. My son is autistic. My stakes are a little higher than your average person, sir. How much more? Oh, and then the judge is like, how much more of this? And Agnifilo is like, oh, I need a sidebar. I need to talk to the government. Okay. So Agnifilo said, okay, just a few more minutes and we'll get you out today. Thank you, sir. So you did a lot of great work with Cassie in 2016 and 2017, right? She said, I believed so. But Cassie had addiction problems. Yes. That's the notice. Agnifilo, to my memory, was required to provide notice that he was going to bring certain things up before he brought it up. And I think this is one of those things. Addiction problems. And you made a short movie with her? She said, yeah, it was called Love a Loser. You wrote to him asking for forgiveness. She said, I wanted my life back, my dream, my competency. He said, well, when you met with me, you wanted to work for him again, didn't you? We discussed it. Nothing further, Your Honor. Judge calls up Mitzi Steiner. How much was Diddy required to pay you? Okay, sidebar, because I don't think they're supposed to talk about settlement discussions. We do have more tweets, though. Hold on. Okay, so Mark Agnifilo's done asking questions, and now we have the government asking questions. Okay, they're doing their redirect. They're probably going to finish this witness today. That's why they're going longer past 3. They're just probably going to wrap it up. What happened with the job with Chris Lighty? He died the day I was supposed to start. Oh my God, the COVID hit. He died the day I was supposed to. He died the day before I was supposed to start. Then at Interscope, it wasn't about a job. They told me leave Puff alone. Oh my God. I object, Your Honor. Here's Agnifilo. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Y'all, something's going on here and they're silencing Capricorn Clark. Oh my God. She needs to make a video so we can react to it. Look at this. What happened with the job with Chris Lighty? He died, Capricorn said, the day before I was supposed to start. Remember when she said her job fell through? The job fell through because the guy died. Where are they going with this? And then she said, then at Interscope, and I think she's talking about the lawyer meeting. She said it wasn't about a job. They told me to leave Puff alone. Mark Agnifilo said, I object, Your Honor, meaning don't let her tattletale on us. Capricorn Clark is exposing what the scheme is. Mark Agnifilo said, no, I object. And the judge sided with him. What's really going on? Mark Agnifilo, look, 2 tweets. Let's do these back to back. Mark Agnifilo, when you met with me, you wanted to work for him, didn't you? She said, I mean, it was one of the things we discussed. Nothing further, Your Honor. And he prances back and waddles over to the defense table. What happened to your job with Chris Lighty? The government asks. He died. I was supposed to start. He died the day before. And then at Interscope, which I'm assuming is where this lawyer meeting happened about a job, she said it wasn't about a job. He's lying. It wasn't about a job. It was the shakedown. They were trying to tell me to leave Diddy alone. It wasn't about a job. And I bet you they reached a settlement because settlements cannot be discussed in court in some circumstances. Some circumstances they can. You did see it with Cassie. But all this little at the sidebar, I think that this witness must have got a settlement. I maybe not, because even if it's in criminal court, I think you can bring it up. Oh man, y'all, it's like Fern Gully out there. Holy, oh man, the judge is not letting her say stuff, and it's like, wait, hold on, why can't she talk? Oh my God, hold on, let me get down. This has been a very eventful day. What happened with the job with Chris Lighty? He died the day before I was supposed to start. Then at Interscope, that wasn't about a job. That was them trying to tell me to leave Diddy alone. Mark Agnifilo, I object. The judge, okay, fine. Nobody talk about that anymore. Capricorn Clark said, I was blacklisted. Agnifilo, objection. The judge said, no, you can't say that either. Why did you return to work for Diddy? So people could see that I wasn't disposable. At this level of business, he held all the power. Why did you meet them? With them, I guess. Why did you meet with Mark Agnifilo and Diddy's lawyers, Teeny Garagos and Jonathan Davis or whatever? Why did you meet with those people in 2023? The government asks. She said, to get my life back. Okay, I gotta do some AstroTurf management. I've had enough of this bot account. Here's the thing, y'all. I can do this all day because y'all see the super chats coming in, right? Like it's clear where I make my money, right? Thank you so much, Blue Passion ASMR, for the $10 super chat. Thank you for being such a ray of sunshine. Thank you. Thank you so much, D-Boy, for the $20 super chat. You were the best. You should take over for Nancy Grace. Ew. She could never do what I do. Oh my God. Thank you so much for $20 super chat. Be blessed, feel better. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I think it's pretty obvious how I'm making my money, right? And I think it's pretty obvious I'm not making enough money to afford all the law bills, the legal lawfare bills that I'm having to pay. So if y'all want to donate to the legal fund, it's linked down below. That being said, if you see a Twitter account on Twitter all day, they don't have their face, they don't have a name. It's just a random name of something, okay? And they're only ever pushing one side of a story, and every single tweet they reply to, every single tweet. But again, listen, I said they don't have their name or their face up. People with their name and their face up could be trying to build a certain brand for themselves or whatever. And also, yes, of course, people without their name and face could be doing so too. And indeed, corporate interests do that. That is what a content farm is. It's just something to think about. How or why somebody with a certain pointed agenda would only ever see things from one side. I was reading something else things. I go back and forth. I flip flop. I reserve the right to change my mind. That's not to say I'm not biased. I am biased. That being said, these inflammatory accounts, the inflammatory ones that don't do nothing but reply to inner city press all day. I'm definitely not talking about, people I interact with and stuff, but do the math. Do the math yourself. Figure it out yourself. Okay. So there's nothing else new here. Let's go to Washington Post. I'm guessing they're going to be probably wrapping it up soon. I mean, it is 3:23. Let's see. 8 minutes ago, Fox News, Capricorn Clark doubles down during cross-examination that she was forced to go with Diddy. Mark Agnifilo asked her if she remembered telling Diddy that she was going with him so he wouldn't do something stupid. She couldn't recall. Because again, she was there under some type of pretense of like, we're there for a job. Maybe she's there to get a job. Maybe she's not. Something discussed, whatever. So she's probably not realizing that they're actually just gathering intel for this trial. Now she does, I think. She realizes she got bamboozled and duped. And that might be half the reason she's crying on the stand. She said she couldn't recall saying that, but she claimed once again that she was forced to accompany Diddy. She also told Mark Agnifilo that Diddy allegedly had a very bad temper, but she insisted she still didn't want to go. Earlier in the day, Capricorn testified that she remembered when the Bad Boy Records founder discovered Cassie was dating Kid Cudi. He was very upset. He was pacing. He was furious. That was evident. She said it looked like he had something in his hand. She opened the door because he was upset, and part of her job was to make sure the brand and likeness was okay. She described Combs as wearing gray slacks, split open at the crotch, furious, holding a gun, saying, "Why didn't you tell me? Who's Scott?" Diddy allegedly told Capricorn, "Get dressed. We're going to unalive this person." Two updates from CNN. Combs controlled Ventura's career, decisions. Less than a minute ago, CNN.com. Capricorn said Diddy, her former employer, she said, when she worked for Cassie, Diddy was required to approve all of the looks, each of her songs, and every event she went to. She said Diddy would withdraw his support when the couple was fighting. Okay, so this is cleaning up a little bit of that Mark Agnifilo damage that he did a while ago, right? Like, isn't it true Cassie got special treatment? Isn't it true that Cassie And remember what I told y'all? They're actually making the government's case, because then what did the government say? Capricorn, you remember all that favoritism you were talking about? If Cassie and Diddy were fighting, aka Cassie wasn't doing as told, as the slave she was supposed to be, what happened? They were fighting. Diddy would withdraw that special favoritism plus more. So she wasn't being treated equally to other employees. Less than a minute ago, Clark further testifies about difficulty finding a job after the 2012 firing. So this is probably going to give us some more insight into that the guy died thing. Under redirect, Capricorn said the settlement she reached with Diddy after she got fired in 2012 required a mutual non-disparagement and also required Diddy sign a letter of recommendation for her. Diddy never signed that recommendation letter, she testified. She could not get a job in the industry after that. She also said that in a meeting that she thought, she also said that in a meeting that she thought was about a job, remember, that wasn't about a job, with executives from Interscope, that's Jimmy Iovine, right? They told her to leave Diddy alone and it wouldn't end well for her. The judge struck that part of the testimony after sustaining a defense objection. So, of course, the judge is protecting Interscope. God forbid Interscope get brought into this. God forbid. No. Stricken. Capricorn Clark testified that she continued to look for work through 2015, and that's when those orphanages was shut down. 2015, but wasn't able to find a new job in the industry because she was blacklisted. The judge then struck that from the record too. She said she couldn't find steady work in the entertainment industry, so she started consulting. At this level of business, he holds all the power as it related to me. Wow. She's off the witness stand and the jury is dismissed for the day. She's finished her testimony. Let's go to Inner City Press. Get those details in. Some crazy stuff happened today, y'all. It was a hard one today. Whew, I don't feel good. Okay. In the kidnapping, did Diddy carry a gun? This is the government. Yes. Okay. Nothing further, Your Honor. Capricorn Clark is done. So tomorrow we're going to get more witnesses. I bet you, Florida Tropics. Prosecution did a good job leaving the jury with Diddy and the GUN. The jurors are out, but I want to stay because I want to see if we're going to get a hint/clue as to who's going to be testifying tomorrow. The judge says to the jurors, I know we kept you longer than I said. Thank you for your patience, and we'll see you all tomorrow. All rise. Not that much longer, like half hour. They're fine. They probably expect it. Okay, so let's just see if we're going to get any insight, because the next people I think are going to be called are going to be that LA Fire Department guy, the LA Police Department guy. Who do we have? Kid Cudi, Milo Morales. I don't know what FR. I don't know what that is. Josh Croft. They're gonna have somebody come in. I think that also these are the people that have been hinted to be supposedly going to be coming in. The former CFO of Bad Boy, LAPD person, LAFD person. So let me just see. Refresh. Okay, who do we have tomorrow? We got the list. Good. Tomorrow, LA Police Department, LA Fire Department, Jimenez, and then Nash and Mia. Jane Doe Mia, the one we don't know who she is. What about the VTC? I think that's a video teleconference, like the Zoom call with Diddy at the jail. That's Agnifilo. The judge said there's apparently logistical difficulties in the evening. They believe they're being flexible. Tina Garrigo says we get cut off after 5:30. So they're going to sort that out. I do have to run. I'm like fading fast. And if I'm going to be back here tomorrow to do this all over again, I need to get out of here. Thank you, Masha, for the $1.99. America's adoption industry is $26 billion. It's very interesting. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Nessa, for the $4.99. I've followed you for about a year now. Thank you for what you do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to Nessa. Thank you, Hudson, for the $4.99 super chat again. Actually, Jay-Z has been grimy. like what he did to Dame. But for the most part, he kept his hands clean. He wasn't doing all this. Fair. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. He does seem to keep it together a little better than this flash out clown. Thank you, Elaine, for the £9.99 super sticker. And thank you, Empowered Wendy. I cannot wait for BJ to investigate. Yes. Thank you for the $4.99, Empowered Wendy. I will see y'all tomorrow. Same-ish time. Same-ish place. That's all I really had for this one. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. I love you, Mina K. Bye.